Okay, so imagine this. There's this 22-year-old woman, right?
Okay.
She's totally fallen for this guy. He's 27.
Cute.
They're in love. Everything's perfect.
I sense a butt coming.
But
Yeah.
he finds out something about her past.
Juicy. What is it?
And it's causing some serious waves in their relationship.
I bet. The past has a way of creeping back in.
Right. So, turns out, a few years back, this woman had a threesome.
Whoa. Okay. Things just got interesting.
Yeah, with her best friend and her best friend's boyfriend.
Ooh, that's going to be a whole other layer of complicated.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the issue? She's allowed to have a past, right?
That's what I thought. And she's super clear about the fact that she's not into threesomes now.
Okay, so she's moved on, found her person.
But her boyfriend is having a hard time with it.
Jealousy rearing its ugly head.
Big time. He even told her he feels like a loser because he hasn't had that experience.
Oh boy. Comparisons are never healthy.
And to make matters worse, she mentioned in an update that he used the phrase equally yoked during their arguments about it.
Equally yoked? Where did that even come from?
Right. Like, what does that even mean in this context? It's so bizarre.
I mean, usually that's about compatibility, often with religious undertones.
Like, he's bringing a whole other set of values into judging her past.
It definitely adds a layer of judgment, doesn't it?
And you want to know the kicker? She said he found out by snooping through her phone.
Red flag. Snooping is never the answer.
Major breach of trust.
It speaks volumes about his insecurities.
So we've got her side, his side, and then the internet steps in.
Oh, the internet. Always full of opinions.
And boy, do they have opinions on this one.
I can only imagine. This is like a recipe for viral relationship drama.
Some people were totally on her side.
Calling out the boyfriend for being controlling, I bet.
Exactly. But then others were like, hold on, she's still close with this guy. That's messy.
It's like everyone brought their own relationship baggage to the comments section.
It became a whole debate about who was in the wrong.
Classic relationship debate. Whose fault is it, really? As if it's ever that simple.
And of course, the double standard card gets thrown around.
Ah, yes, because women can't possibly have explored their sexuality before settling down.
Exactly. It's like they're damned if they do, damned if they don't.
It's a tale as old as time, unfortunately.
And amidst all this chaos, you have the communication is key. Folks trying to be the voice of reason.
The classic advice, which, don't get me wrong, is important, but sometimes it's easier said than done.
Absolutely, especially with something this loaded. Like, how do you even begin to unpack all that baggage?
That's the real question, isn't it?
And some of the comments were brutal. One person wrote, her actions show that she wanted the other guy more than she wants her boyfriend.
Ouch, that's harsh.
Right. Like, how do you even come back from that?
It's a prime example of how online judgments can be so quick and brutal.
And another commenter wrote, your past is his present.
Oof. While harsh, that one does hit a nerve, doesn't it?
It highlights how these things linger, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how much does the past actually affect our present relationships? Is it possible to truly separate the two?
It's the age-old question. It's a question for the ages, isn't it?
Right. Like, are we forever haunted by our past relationships?
Well, not haunted necessarily, but our past experiences definitely shape us.
That's true. We bring all that baggage into our new relationship.
Exactly. And it's not about pretending that baggage doesn't exist. It's about finding a way to navigate it together.
Which brings up the whole, how much should we tell our partner's dilemma?
Oh, yeah. The disclosure debate. It's a tricky one.
Because on the one hand, honesty is important, right?
Absolutely. But it's not always about spilling every little detail.
So it's less about a tell-all and more about figuring out what feels right to share.
Exactly. It's about open communication and creating a safe space to discuss those potentially sensitive topics.
So in this case, maybe instead of focusing on the details of the threesome itself, the conversation could be more about
why it makes her boyfriend uncomfortable.
Yes. And why she felt comfortable doing it in the past, but doesn't feel the same way now.
Exactly. It's about understanding the context, the motivations, and how those might have changed over time.
Because in the Reddit post, it sounds like the boyfriend is stuck on the fact that she was open to it before.
Which is understandable, right? It's easy to get caught up in those comparisons.
But like you were saying before, what's exciting or even appealing in one situation might feel totally different in another.
Exactly. A threesome in the context of casual dating is a totally different experience than a threesome in a committed relationship.
Right. And just because she was open to it before doesn't mean she doesn't value her current relationship.
Exactly. It's about her needs and boundaries evolving as the relationship has progressed.
Okay, I get that. But it's still got to be tough for the person feeling insecure.
No, absolutely. Jealousy is a powerful emotion, and it often stems from our own insecurities.
So how do you deal with those feelings in a healthy way without it turning into a big fight?
Communication is key. But not just any communication. We're talking about being vulnerable, expressing your feelings without blaming your partner.
So like instead of saying you're making me feel insecure, it's more about
More like, I'm feeling a little insecure about this. Can we talk about it? It's a subtle shift, but it can make a world of difference.
it's about approaching it as a team, right? Working through it together.
Exactly. And the partner listening needs to really hear what their partner is saying. Validate those feelings, even if they don't fully understand them.
It takes a lot of maturity and self-awareness to navigate that kind of conversation.
It does. But that's what makes for a strong and healthy relationship in the long run.
And we can't forget about those pesky societal double standards. They definitely muddy the waters.
Ugh, don't even get me started. It's like society tells women to be sexually adventurous and then punishes them for it.
It's a no-win situation.
Exactly. And it all comes back to this idea that a woman's worth is somehow tied to her sexual history.
Which is so messed up.
It is. We need to move past these outdated notions and start valuing women for who they are, not who they've slept with.
Preach. So it seems like communication is essential. But it's not just about talking. It's about really understanding each other's perspectives.
100%. It's about creating a space where both partners feel safe enough to be vulnerable, express their fears and insecurities, and know that they'll be met with empathy and respect.
It's about respecting boundaries, right?
Absolutely. Just because someone was okay with something in the past doesn't mean they're obligated to do it again.
It's about recognizing that people change, desires evolve, and what felt good once might not feel good now.
You got it. And if those boundaries aren't respected, that's a whole other issue.
It's a lot to unpack, but I think you've given our listeners a lot to think about.
I hope so. Because these are real issues that many couples face.
It's like we always say, relationships take work.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
And this couple, they hit a pretty major roadblock.
Yeah, snooping through her phone. Not cool.
Not cool at all. Like, talk about making things worse.
It's like he took a shortcut, but it totally backfired.
Because trust is everything.
It's the foundation of a relationship. Without it, you're building on shaky ground.
And it's not just trust. It's all these other things they're dealing with, too.
Oh, totally. Past experiences, societal pressures, communication breakdowns. It's a lot to juggle.
And then throw a trust issue on top of all that.
Recipe for disaster. But, what's interesting is how relatable this all is.
Seriously. This whole situation is like a cautionary tale, but also something a lot of people have probably experienced in some form.
It's like we've all been there with the jealousy, the insecurities, those moments where you compare yourself to your partner's past.
Totally. We just don't always put it all out there on Reddit.
Exactly. But the point is, it's normal to feel those things. What matters is how we deal with them.
So true. Do we let them eat away at us, or do we talk about it?
Communication is key. And I know we keep saying that, but it's true.
Because bottling things up never ends well.
Never. It festers and turns into resentment.
And sometimes, maybe you realize the relationship just isn't right for you anymore.
That's okay too. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is walk away.
It's tough, but sometimes it's necessary.
It is tough. But it's important to remember that you deserve to be with someone who makes you feel good about yourself, past and present.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this whole Reddit saga?
Relationships are complicated. There will be ups and downs, twists and turns. It's about navigating those challenges together with honesty, empathy, and a whole lot of communication.
Maybe, just maybe, putting down the phone and resisting the urge to snoop.
Now that's some sound advice.
It really is. So to all our listeners out there, keep those conversations open, be kind to yourselves and each other, and remember, your past doesn't define you. Until next time.